So we'll start with Omkaras, three Omkaras, and we'll do today. We will do Ganesha Atharvashiva. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Gananam tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamastravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanasvatana Shrunvannodivipti Dasadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha. Prano Devi Saraswati Vadevirvadinivati Dinama Vitriyavato Vagdevyai Namaha. Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakyabhiryajatraha Thirairangai Tustuvagam Sastanobihi Vishema Devahitayadayuhu Svastina Indro Ruddhasravaha Svastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Svastina Sarksho Aristanemihi Svastino Brahaspatirdhadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lan Namaste Ganapataye Tvameva Pratyaksham Tattvamasi Tvameva Kevalam Kartasi Tvameva Kevalam Dartasi Tvameva Kevalam Hartasi Tvameva Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi Tvam Sakshadatmasi Nityam Rutam Vachmi Satyam Vachmi Avatvam Mam Avavaktaram Avashrotaram Avadataram Avadhataram Avanuchanam Avashishyam Avapashyatat Avapurastat Avottaratat Avadakshinatat Avachordvatat Avadharatat Sarvato Mam Pahi Pahi Samantat Tvam Bhangmayastvam Chinmayaha Tvam Anandamayastvam Brahmamayaha Tvam Satchidanandadvitiyosi Tvam Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvam Jnanamayo Vijnanamayosi Sarvam Jagadidam Tvatto Jayate Sarvam Jagadidam Tvattastishtati Sarvam Jagadidam Tvailayameshyati Sarvam Jagadidam Tvai Pratyeti Tvam Bhumirapo Nalo Nilo Nabaha Tvam Chatvari Akvadhani Tvam Gunatrayatitaha Tvam Avastatrayatitaha Tvam Dehatrayatitaha Tvam Kalatrayatitaha Tvam Mooladhare Sthitosi Nityam Tvam Shaktitrayatmakaha Tvayogino Dhyayanti Nityam
त्वं ब्रह्मा त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वमिन्द्रस्त्वम् अग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्म भूर्भुवस्वरो गणादिं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादिं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अर्धेन्दुलसितं तारेण रुद्धम् एतत्तव मनुस्वरूपम् गकारः पूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपम् बिन्दुरुत्तररूपम् नादसन्धानम् सगुंहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेश विद्या गणकऋषिः निरुद्धायत्री छन्दः श्रीमहागणपतिर्देवता ॐ गङ्गणपतये नमः एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ते प्रचोदयात् एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं तदञ्च वरदं हस्तैर्बिभ्राणं मूषकध्वजम् रक्तल्लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैर्सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च सृष्ट्यादौ प्रकृते पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः नमो व्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमथपतये नमस्ते स्थुलम्बोदर शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुस्तुवागुंसस्तनूभिः मिषेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीरामकृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
Do a couple of bhajans, small bhajans. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Jaya Ganesha Pahi Mam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam. Sri Ganesha Rakshamam.
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
जय गणेश पाहि मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
श्री गणेश रक्ष मां
One more Namavali, just follow after me. This is on Devi.
नमो गौरी नारायणि श्री दुर्गा माई 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 ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ 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 ನಮೋ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಯಿ 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 ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಮೋ ಗೌರಿ ನಮೋ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಯಿ ನಮೋ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಮೋ ಗೌರಿ ನಾರಾಯಣಿ ಶ್ರೀ ದುರ್ಗಾ ಮಾಯಿ ನಮೋ नमो गौरी नारायणी श्री दुर्गा माई नमो गौरी नारायणी श्री दुर्गा माई नमो गौरी नारायणी श्री दुर्गा माई ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನಯ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ನಿನ್ನದ ಕೃಪೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿರಲು ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ ಕಾವರಾರು ತಾಯಿ 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 ತಾಯಿ
We chant the Tavakata Amrutam. So I think everyone knows. Just sing together. Tavakata Amrutam Tapadivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangala Srimadatam Krishna Bhuviganantaye Muridajana Tavakatamrutam Saptajivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Krishna Bhuviganantaye Muridajana. One more Namavali. Sri Rama Krishna, He Rama Krishna, He Rama Krishna. I forgot. What is the? Tell me lyrics. Lyrics today, eh? Lyrics. I don't have slides today. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. Karunamaya Palaya Man. Karunamaya Palaya Man. He Dinabandhu Sri Sharadesha. He Dinabandhu Sri Sharadesha. Mama Prana Priya Pahi Man. Mama Prana Priya Pahi Man. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. Karunamaya Palaya Man. Karunamaya Palaya Man. He Dinabandhu Sri Sharadesha. He Dinabandhu Sri Sharadesha. Mama Prana Priya Pahi Man. Mama Prana Priya Pahi Man. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. He Prema Rupa Sri Rama Krishna. Karunamaya Palaya Man.
दीनबन्धु श्रीशारदेश हे दीनबन्धु श्रीशारदेश मम प्राणप्रिय पाहि माम् मम प्राणप्रिय पाहि माम् हे प्रेम रूप श्री राम कृष्ण हे प्रेम रूप श्री राम कृष्ण करुणामय पालय माम् करुणामय पालय माम् हे दीनबन्धु श्री शारदेश हे दीनबन्धु श्री शारदेश मम प्राणप्रिय पाहि माम् 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 मम प्राणप्रिय पाहि माम्
Om. Taking refuge in the holy feet of Sri Sarada Devi, the Universal Mother, and Sri Ramakrishna, the teacher of the world, my humble salutations to them for ever and ever. Kalyananam avikala nidhi kapi karunya sima nitya moda nigama vasama vachasa mauli mandhara mala sampad divya madhu vijayanaha sannidattam sadhame saisha devi sakala bhuvana prarthana kamadenu. May Divine Mother, the infinite source of all auspicious things, the ultimate abode of compassion, one who is glorified in Vedas and Vedanta, the divine consort of Sri Ramakrishna, and the unique benefactor of all worlds, always manifest before me. Om Sri Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvadha. O Lord Ganesha, who has a huge body, curved elephant trunk, and whose brilliance is equal to billions of suns, may always remove all our endeavors, all obstacles from our endeavors. My humble greetings to you all. Now, since Monday we had Ganesh Chaturthi, that is birthday of Ganesha, Lord Ganesha. So birthday means he was not born through a normal birth. He was made from the Rakta Chandana, that is red sandalwood by Parvati Devi. And Mother Parvati gave her life to that image. And this birthday of the Lord Ganesha is when his elephant head was replaced for the human head. So that is the Chaturthi day we celebrate as a birthday of Lord Ganesha. Now, why this elephant head? What is the significance of that? So we can have some other head, goat head, or of course we have monkey king, that is Hanuman. Other many mammals. Why Ganesha is given this elephant head? What is the connection between elephant and the Lord or God? So it's just one analysis we can do, and then we will proceed to our further study. So elephant, and also we are told to give our first salutations or obeisance to Ganesha before we start our work. This is very prominent in Hindu culture. And in fact, the figure of elephant is also honored in other religions as well. Buddhism, even in Christianity. But in Hinduism, we call him as Vinayaka, Ganesha. In Tamil, we call him as Pillayar, Lambodhara. There are many names for him. And we have a separate Purana called Ganesha Purana, dedicated for Lord Ganesha. And we have a separate religion called Ganapatyam, one of the sub-religion of the Hinduism. So now why this elephant head? Why should we see this elephant head before we start our work? Or remember elephant for that matter. So elephant is the only mammal in this whole world or universe which has got a strong memory, which can never forget many things. For 23 years, 25 years before what the elephant saw, exactly it can retain in its memory. So when we do our work, we need a strong memory. Otherwise, it will be an obstacle. So that is why the vision of elephant or remembering elephant is an important aspect for us. Second, elephant has got a strong problem solving skills. Third, it has got very high hearing capacity. And you see, and they are very creative animals. It can you would have noticed that elephant has bands, music bands. Elephant can conduct an orchestra. A giraffe or squirrel or lions cannot do. Elephant can do these skills. And it has got a strong empathy on other animals and also on humans. And another very important aspect is elephant can recognize its image when it sees a mirror. So it asks us to see ourselves before we, comment on anything else on others. And above all, it is a very majestic. It symbolizes majesty, patience, chastity, abundance, and also a kind of good fortune. Buddhism believes that the Buddha mother had a white elephant appearing in her dream, blessing her with a white lotus. So this actually symbolizes purity, calmness, and divinity. In Christianity, it represents Adam and evil, and also a temperance. And of course, it has got the huge might to remove any obstacles on its way. So these are all the traits which Lord Ganesha represents for us to do. Remembering him, we will be able to remove all these obstacles in our way and do our job in a better and best delivery. So that is why our scriptures advise us to think about Lord Ganesha. So with this, we will enter with another small story. We have many questions whether the God exists or not. So a man went to a hairdresser for a haircut, and he had long hairs and he had long beard, and he wants to trim and he wants to have a haircut. So he entered a hairdresser salon. And as usual, when the barber or hairdresser is doing his job, they usually hold a conversation with their client. So that was happening. And a hairdresser was commenting about the existence of God. He was telling, like, does the God really exist? If God exists, why do people suffer in this world? If we go out, we see people doesn't have home. They they are wandering jobless. Some people are really in pain. They don't have proper food. Like that, we see all kinds of vices, non-virtues happening in the society. So the addresser said, if the God exists, these bad things will not exist. Evil things should not exist in the world. But it is existing. That means the God, because we portray God as the one who takes care of their children, and God gives lots of love and affection to the society, and always give us abundance and peace. But people are not in peace. We have lots of chaos every time. So that means God doesn't exist. So he was arguing like that. He was, not, he was trying to make an argument with his client with these statements. The client patiently hearing all these statements, because he doesn't want to create an argument, because if he creates an argument, then this fellow is already having his scissor and with a kind of shaver. So he thought he might hurt him, so he kept quiet. Then the client, he finished the job. Then client paid him, and he stepped out. And he brought another man who had long beard and had too much of hair. The client who got his hair done, his beard was trimmed. He was looking neat and handsome. He went out and brought another man who had long beard and his hair was not cut, and took him inside the hairdresser salon and said, the barbers do not exist. To the hairdresser, the hairdressers doesn't exist. Then hairdresser said, what do you mean? I exist. I just now I cut my hair to you, and you are saying that I don't exist. Then the client said, if you exist, then how come the another man who has his long beard and the too much hair wandering in the street? He should not exist. So since another man, there are many people who have long beard and too much of hair. They are all wandering in the street in various places. So your job is to cut and trim. But since you exist, they should not exist, but they are existing. So you hairdressers don't exist. Then he said, how can that happen? I exist. These guys don't come to cut my hair, cut their hair. That is why they are having the long beard and long hairs. So they don't come to us to have a haircut. So what can we do? They are wandering like that. Then the client said, exactly. This is the point. God does exist. What happened is people don't go to him and do not look for him, what the way to remove their pains and all their problems. They don't want to approach God to remove their pain. So they are very happy to be in that way, or they don't want to approach God. That is why even though the God is there, the pain is also there. So this is a big riddle, that unless we approach God, God will not care for us. We need to make that step towards him. Only then our problems in life whatever it may be, can be solved. So unless we don't go to him, it doesn't mean that the God doesn't exist. God do exist. Only thing, we are not making a step towards it. So let us recapitulate our previous class in brief. We have been introducing ourselves to Sri Ramakrishna before we start hearing the gospel. We haven't started the gospel. It has been many classes have gone. We are still in introduction of understanding what Sri Ramakrishna is trying to convey to his through his life, and then slowly he will get into his uh, gospel, which is the Kathamritam, which is the words of Ambrosia. Sri Ramakrishna is establishing the two aspects of Brahman. According to him, the Kali or Brahman as both transcendental and immanent. Both are real and eternal. Here, transcendental means Brahman is with a non-corporeal form, or the Brahman has any forms, or he has a capacity to take any form he wants. And he is absolutely free from imperfection, even though he is assuming such forms. The transcendental aspect of Brahman is actually to be understood in certain ways. So transcendental means in Buddhism, it is called as nirvana. That means there is no Atma also. There is no soul. In Advaita Vedanta, they accept soul, but they reject the universe. They say universe is an illusion. So they accept only soul who is absolutely attributeless, which is called Nirvikara Tattvam. And such a soul is to be attained by negating all opposite to that quality of Nirvikara. This is second explanation of the transcendental aspect of Brahma. The third is a little bit of theistic explanation, where the Brahman is transcendental means he has capacity to take all forms, all time, in all places. So in all these three aspects, the transcendental is this is indescribable in transcendental aspect of Brahman. And then we have immanent is that Brahman is actually as antaryami of each inner soul of each and every one of us, and that same Brahman is one Brahman as the inner soul of this entire universe as an integral unity. We must understand that Sri Ramakrishna already had the vision of Kali before he met his gurus. Kali actually revealed, Mother Kali, who is the divine mother, has already revealed herself to Sri Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna already know what is the anubhava or experience of Lord or Brahman. So, but he had 4 gurus, which Sri Ramakrishna wants to teach us through his gurus how to accept, understand the both aspects of Brahman, which is transcendental and also immanent. Both are real and it is eternal. So, as we have discussed in our previous class, Sri Ramakrishna had 4 gurus. One is Haladari, Jatadhari, and third is Bhairavi Brahmani, and fourth is Todapur. So through these 4 gurus, he is trying to give us a message. It is not that these 4 gurus came to teach Sri Ramakrishna. These 4 gurus came to teach Ramakrishna, but later these 4 become the disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. And Ramakrishna become the guru for these 4 people. So we have already discussed the three gurus history, what Sri Ramakrishna taught at the end. So first I will go in a very brief, because this is a long time. We are meeting after 2.5 months. First, Haladari. Haladari accept the transcendental aspect of Brahman and denied the immanent aspect of Brahman. Sri Ramakrishna corrected that. He said, no, you have to accept both. Then Jatadhari denied the transcendental aspect and accepted the immanent aspect. That means he is more of idol worship. He is going into, he said that the Brahman cannot have all forms, many forms, just one particular form. So that was corrected by Sri Ramakrishna. Then Bhairavi Brahmani. Bhairavi Brahmani accepted the immanent part of Brahman. And he in fact had the Yashodha Krishna relationship with Sri Ramakrishna and herself. But what was the problem with Bhairavi Brahmani is she accepted that Lord belongs only to me and not to anybody else. Krishna belongs only to Yashoda, not to all gopikas, like that. That cannot happen, because she is denying the universality of Krishna. Impersonal, he is common to all, like the moon common to all. So that was corrected for Bhairavi Brahmani. The last one is Totapuri, who accepted the transcendental aspect of Brahman. But in the transcendental aspect also, there is the Shakti aspect which he denied. He says that the Brahman is just like a Nirvikara, Nirvishesha Tattva. And he denied the Shakti part of Brahman. The Shakti of Brahman is this entire universe. He denied that. And he thought that Brahman, that he himself is Brahman directly, and followed the negative path of negation, neti. So this was corrected by Sri Ramakrishna towards Totapuri. So let us see how this correction happened. Now we last class we saw how Totapuri came, and Ramakrishna seek permission from his mother. Totapuri thought that it is his biological mother. No, he ran to Kali and asked permission. Can I meet this monk, Totapuri? Then Totapuri rebuked Sri Ramakrishna. What are you doing? You are like going and asking this idol to seek permission to meet me and learn Vedanta from me. This is all illusion. These all are meaningless. The world is an illusion. I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Directly. So that is the fact. Don't worry about all these images. These are all illusions. So that was the reply he got from Totapuri. But anyway, we will see how things changes for Totapuri in this process. Totapuri gave a condition that you must embrace sannyasa to become a Vedantist. Because Ramakrishna was a householder. He had his wife, he has a mother, biological mother, Chandramani Devi, living in the same place. So he put a condition that unless you take sannyasa, I will not teach Vedanta. His realization. Totapuri's realization. Then, because Sri Ramakrishna wants to use Totapuri to give a message. So he has to obey. So to get audience from Totapuri, he has to obey. That is a trick. In fact, Sri Ramakrishna played. So he said, okay, Swami, I will embrace sannyasa. Please give me sannyasa. But he said, I don't want to be revealed in public, because he doesn't want his mother Chandramani to know that he is going to become sannyas. So last class we discussed about all these. So now we are directly going into the process of sannyasa ceremony. So Totapuri asked Sri Ramakrishna, please meditate on Nirvikara Brahma. Nirvikara Brahma means something like milk without taste. How do we experience that? How do we experience milk without taste? So he asked him to meditate on that. Ramakrishna was confused. How can I? Because he always had that, thinking of mother with all infinite qualities and lots of colors and things like that, attributes. Sri Ramakrishna was literally praying to mother. Mother, this man is telling me to think something like opposite to what I have seen you, which is like a tasteless milk. But he was determined because he has to obey his guru. He has accepted Totapuri as his sannyasa guru. So he has to obey. So he was praying intensely to Holy Mother, to the Divine Mother Kali. So that is the determination we should have. Once the determination is developed, the Bhagavan actually comes for our rescue. So he was 3 nights, he was 3 days and nights he was trying to understand how should I literally understand the Nirvikara aspect of Brahma. He was actually consulting, he was in consultation with Divine Mother. So this determination we should have. So what is determination? I will tell you a story. A man was sleeping at night in his cabin. So suddenly his room was filled with light. And a big flash came, and immediately his favorite god appeared. It can be Rama, Krishna, Kali, Durga, Jesus, Jacob, Moses, name it as you want. Then he was flabbergasted, spellbound to see his favorite god appearing in front. And the god ordered him, hey, look at, there is a big rock in front of your cabin. The Lord said, push against the rock with all your might. He said, push against the rock with all your might. With all your strength, you push the rock. Disappeared. Then this fellow diligently, studiously, every day he was pushing the rock. But he couldn't move, was not able to move 1 inch. So the days went on and on, month passed, almost 6 months passed. He was keep on pushing every day. And he couldn't move even 1 single inch. Then the negative Saturn appeared and told him, see, every day you are pushing and not even you are able to move 1 inch. Why are you wasting your time in obeying to this God? The God is a man who always cheats you. You don't understand this. Why are you obeying him? See, 6 months you are trying all your endeavors, did not succeed at all. And this man said, no, 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 it's not that way. Let me speak to God and understand what's happening. I would not listen to you. So the Saturn went away. So he again prayed. And he was in concert, in prayers to God. Then God appeared. Then he started lamenting and said, see, I've been obeying you diligently. I was trying to push the rock, but I was not able to move even one single inch. All my endeavors have gone vain. It's all wasted. Then immediately God said, what do you mean it is got wasted? You have been pushing this rock for 6 months. Don't you know that your limbs have become strong now? You have now strong biceps. You have got strong shoulders. You have a very greater strength. Then also he said, what did I tell you to do? I asked you to push the rock. Did I tell you to move it? You was stand still. What do you mean? And then I didn't ask you to move the rock. I only asked you to push against the rock with all your might. So you do that and stop. Rest, I will move. So Lord moved the rock. So what happens all the time is we we are given a task to push against the we are given a task to obey the God, but we actually decipher our own things and try to confuse the entire Lord's command. So the God said, I will move the rock and you just do your endeavor. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadacha. Ananya chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate. Tesham mityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. He just say, I will just, you do your prayarthana or endeavor, I will do the rest. So this is what happens. See, Ramakrishna was in absolute consultation with mother, asking to reveal her Nirakara form. The mother was actually eagerly trying to give that phala to fruit to Sri Ramakrishna. Then Sri Ramakrishna asked Totapuri, I'm not able to do this. Then immediately Totapuri took a sharp needle and pricked on Sri Ramakrishna's eyebrows, in the middle of the eyebrows. Then he said, do you feel that pain there? He said, yes. You fixed your mind on that. You know, mother, Sri Ramakrishna is the son of Mother Kali. The moment this fellow Totapuri hurted her bhakta, immediately she revealed herself. Like how Prahlada was challenged by his own father, then Nrisimha came out of the pillar. Same incident when Sri Ramakrishna was struck, given a pain, his devotee got hurted. Immediately mother could not withstand and she showed her Nirakara form. Nirakara means it is not that she doesn't have a form. What happens there is she has every form as her form. Then how do we ascertain which form she has? So she has a Kali form, which we all know. We could see the Dakshineshwar Kali. That's how he always think Sri Ramakrishna always remembers mothers in that form. But when it comes to transcendental form, all forms are Bhagavan's, the mother's form. So this is where the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the highest realization of any religion for that matter, whether you call it as Nirvana or whether you call it as where there is no Atma according to Buddhism, Nirvikalpa Samadhi according to Shankaracharya's Neti Neti Advaita Vedanta, where Brahman alone exists and the Jivatma also vanishes. The entire world vanishes. And the Nirvikalpa Samadhi according to the Bhakti school is that the Divine Mother has innumerable forms. And the Jivatma is completely bereft of this body mind concept and experience the Brahman innumerable form like a wonderstruck, like Arjuna experiencing the Bhagavan's Vishwarupa universal form. Arjuna couldn't understand because everywhere you could see the form of Vishnu, which is just infinitely growing, expanding. Brahman, it's the name Brahman itself, meaning is expansion. So when we become Brahman means then we are also expanding. Our visions are expanding. Our knowledge is expanding. So this is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi experience. If I just live it with the people, they can take whichever the way they want, as per the Bhakti school, as per the school of Shankaracharya, or as per the school of Buddhism. So the experience in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the individual soul is bereft of the corporeal interference, material interference. The spirit experiences the universal spirit. So that is the experience of Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sri Ramakrishna clearly says that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the first step to attain the supreme devotion. Where does he say that? In his Leela Prasanga, Sri Ramakrishna and his divine play, translated by Swami Chetanananda, page 528, clearly says this. Page number 528. Because many times we have heard that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the highest standing and it is stopped. But to make this pramanam, because there are people listening to me in the online, so I want to give the pramanam that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the first step to attain supreme devotion. So that is written in page 528 of the Sri Ramakrishna's divine play, translated by Chetanananda. So when we know that we are individual souls and become completely unattached with body-mind concept, only then the Atman, the individual soul, can really start loving God without motive. So this is very clearly demonstrated in Bhagavad Gita. The first 6 chapters talks about the Jivatma Sakshatkar. What is individual soul? How to understand that he is spirit. Then the chapter 7, 8, and 9 talks about the Paramatma Swarupa. So nature of the Brahman. Then the chapter 10, 11, 12 teaches about the development of bhakti. The remaining 6 chapters, that is last chapters, talks about how to establish the relationship in a more practical way. So this is the nutshell of the Bhagavad Gita. Now Totapuri, let us see what Totapuri's realization is. What did he realize? And what he is intending to teach Sri Ramakrishna. Totapuri did not approve the path of devotion. He believed in the path of knowledge only. So the Tota did not understand that the path of devotion would teach a spiritual aspirant to slowly renounce this world, this materialistic attachment, for increasing the bhakti towards Bhagavan. And ultimate Bhagavan means Lord, ultimately leading to the God realization. See, he is not an atheist. He doesn't. When we say that he doesn't approve path of devotion, means doesn't mean that Tota is an atheist. He says that he is God himself. That is nirvikara tattvam. That is isness. Is only is. That is milk without taste. It is like a dry sadhu. So according to this philosophy, individual souls and the world or matter is an illusion or illusion or appearance. Nowadays they call it as appearance. The current teachers of the Shankara's Vedanta call this illusion as appearance of Brahman. Now the correction begins. Now the Sri Ramakrishna is going to correct all this conception of Totapuri through various incidents. First incident. Before this happened, now Sri Ramakrishna, as he received the grace of Shakti to experience that formless, the innumerable forms of God, he was engrossed in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi for continuous 3 days. He became like a piece of log of wood, I would say. So he completely forgot about the world, and all the time he was absolutely thinking about God. In fact, our Totapuri he couldn't understand, because what 40 years of his sadhana, Sri Ramakrishna could achieve in just 3 days. So he left him absorbed in that state for a long time. Then this Totapuri and Sri Ramakrishna used to spend together and engrossed in Nirvikalpa Samadhi for many days like this. Now the first incident happened where Sri Ramakrishna is slowly started to become the guru of Totapuri. Incident 1. So Sri Ramakrishna used to call the Totapuri as Nangta. Nangta means, in Bengali, Nangta means this naked one. He did not wear dress. So he was from the Naga sect, where they don't wear dress and they keep a fire, dhuni, all the time next to them. So this is their tradition, and this is how they actually meditate all the time. They spend most of their time in meditation. So he used to meditate like a mountain, our Totapuri. And he possessed a kamandalu made of the brass, like a brass pitcher. And he used to polish the kamandalu or water pot or water pitcher until it glitters. So Sri Ramakrishna used to ask, he was seeing all this. Ramakrishna questioned Totapuri. You have realized Brahman, then why are you meditating every day? You are saying, I am Brahmasmi. Then why should you meditate? Because meditation, when you say I meditate on Brahman, means then meditation and Brahman will be different. You cannot say that the water will wet itself. Water can wet another object. So when you say water is wetting, means then there is another object which is there. So when you say you are meditating on Brahman, means you say you are already Brahman. Then why do you want to meditate? Aham Brahmasmi is their cardinal message, cardinal realization. Then Totapuri gives an gives an answer. He said, and he looked at the Sri Ramakrishna and said, he pointed out this picture, that brass picture. You see, it is bright, right? He said, yes, it is bright. I every day polish to remove that tarnish so that it glitters. Like that, our mind also should be always polished regularly to maintain this conception of Brahman. Then Sri Ramakrishna questioned him, then why don't you have the picture made of gold? Why do you want to keep it in the brass? If you have it in gold picture, you need not to polish it every day. It will be always ever glittering. Why didn't you keep that way? Immediately Sri Ramakrishna remarked Sri Ramakrishna's remark was observed by Totapuri. He said, yes, that is true. And he admitted with a smile, yes, that is true. But Master's statement, that is Sri Ramakrishna's statement, has a profound meaning in this. He said, why don't you have a picture made of gold so that it can never become tarnished? There's no need for you to do this job of this glittering thing. The significance here is Ramakrishna is revealing to us that there is a similarity between Jivatma and Paramatma. Paramatma is never ever under the influence of karma. Jivatma has to do the karma to maintain all the time its relationship with the Brahman. So, though you might say that you are Brahman, but still you are having karma. That means you are not Brahman. You are actually a distinct entity, maybe inseparable from Brahman, like water and fish. And there is similarity between you and Brahman. And Mundaka Upanishad says that very clearly. Yada pasyaha pasyate rukma varnam kartaram isham purusham brahma yonim tada vidwan punyavape viduyaha niranjanaha paramam samyam upaiti. The meaning is when Jiva sees the golden colored creator, see the gold pot, when Jivatma sees the golden colored creator, yeah, Brahman is now is related to a gold color, and as a person from whom this creation has come out, that is through the God's will, Sankalpa, this creation has come out. Then Jivatma, shaking off the good and bad through his sadhana, attains the higher similarity. By shaking off his avidya, the Jivatma attains similarity with Brahman, not exactly the Brahman. So here Sri Ramakrishna clearly gives an example that you hold a brass pitcher, but Brahman is ever gold pitcher. So there is a distinction between you and Brahman. So that he indirectly imparts to Totapuri, because Totapuri always says that Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. So that he wants to break. The second incident, now Ramakrishna, when the dusk falls, when the lights like this, just now mother on the light. So when the light is on, immediately he will start Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Shivaya Nama, Om Shivaya Namaha, Om Shakti, Om Kali, Cha Shakti, Maha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, like that. He'll be started clapping like that. Because in the evening, he used to chant the mother's namas. Immediately Totapuri asked, what? I just now said this world is an illusion. And now I told all these devatas are illusion. Now you are clapping like this. Are you making chapatis like this? Are you making chapati? Then immediately Sri Ramakrishna rebuked. What? I am chanting the God's name. The Lord's name is his power, his glory. I am glorifying God. But you are trying to say that I am trying to make chapatis. What an absurdity it is. And he did not further argue with Totapuri. So he kept, okay, he will be taught a lesson. So that was the second incident. The third incident is a very important incident. At the evening, Totapuri and Sri Ramakrishna used to discuss a lot about the nature of Brahman according to the negative Vedanta philosophy. That is neti neti, not this, not this. So one day, as they were discussing in the night, it was in a very secluded place. There is Duni. Duni means fire is always lit there. And he says the world is an illusion. Brahman alone is real. And Jivatma is exactly Brahman. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. So meanwhile, when this discussion was happening, the servant of the garden wants to light his tobacco pipe. He wants to smoke. So he was looking for fire. I don't know whether in those days they had a matchbox or lighter. So he was looking for a fire. And that man found this Totapuri had a fire in his place, Kutia. So that man approached that place where Sri Ramakrishna and Totapuri were seriously discussing about the Vedanta Vichara or philosophy or discussions. And as he approached, he took his cigarette and light the tobacco. In those days, cigar or in there's a bidi. That's a bidi in Indian language. So he light that bidi or cigar from that fire. Immediately, Totapuri screamed at him. He was at rage against this fellow. He said, "You scoundrel, how did you come and take this fire from this place, and you have actually made fire impure?" Like that, he was rebuking. And he chased him away. Ramakrishna was witnessing this incident. Ramakrishna was laughing. Then Totapuri asked, "Why are you laughing? What made you to laugh? What is that which is cracking some jokes here?" Then that man is an insolent man who actually did not know how to behave. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, "Oh yes, that man is an insolent, I agree. But now I'm actually observing how depth is your knowledge of Brahman. Because just now you were telling the world is an illusion, the world doesn't exist, and you have realized that I am Brahmasmi, then the world should have disappeared for you. Then how you think that that fellow came and light fire? Those things doesn't exist for you, and you are beyond all these things. Why you are not able to maintain that?" This is the main Sri Ramakrishna caught Totapuri in its right way. Then you say this world is an illusion, and next moment you forget everything and ready to beat that poor man. He doesn't have, but you have that knowledge, you're saying. So that I could see how irresistible the power of Maya is. So Tota was absolutely serious after this incident, and he was silent and he was contemplating all these things from the Sri Ramakrishna's son. Then he confessed, yes, I forgot my philosophy due to the influence of my anger. So these are all indirectly, it is told to him that even though you say you are Brahman and all these things, it is practically, it won't work. You are still under the influence of that. You cannot completely get rid of your duality or distinctness from Brahman. Brahman is Brahman. Who are you, individual? So that is indirectly trying to treat. So now Sri Ramakrishna's reply to the teachers of the Neti philosophy or Neti philosophy of Vedanta, that which says that I am exactly Brahman and the world is an illusion, is Sri Ramakrishna is saying that nobody can attain the grace of that stage without the grace of God. You need the grace of Divine Mother to achieve your God realization. You cannot just say that I am Brahman and immediately the world just disappears. No, you cannot do that. And also, Sri Ramakrishna says, you say that there is no thorn, and you say that nothing can prick. But the moment you are pricked by a thorn, immediately you cry with pain. You don't say it is an illusion. You should say that it is an illusion. But you are not saying that, rather. So he also said, and you are saying this world doesn't exist. There is no birth, there is no virtue, there is no vice. All duality is an illusion of illusion or appearance, which will be hearing a lot next month. But the moment your body is succumbed to illness, you rush yourself to Providence, get all surgery, and you forget all your high philosophy. What happened? What happened to that? So all these things Sri Ramakrishna clearly imparts to Totapuri. And therefore he says that no one can attain self-knowledge and become free from misery without the grace of God or the interference of the Divine Mother's providence. And he quotes from the Chandi, Devi Mahatmayam, Savidya Parama Mukte Hetu Bhuta Sanathani, Samsara Bandha Hetuscha Savaiva Sarva Sarveshwareswari. So she creates the three worlds with its movable and immovable things. And though she is the cause of all attachment, she becomes pleased. But only when she becomes pleased, she grants the salvation to individual souls. She has to be pleased. And Totapuri thought that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is achieved by his own self-effort without the providence without the interference of Divine Mother's providence. So that is all scattered by our Ramakrishna, and he said you need Divine Mother's absolute interference. Upanishads clearly says, Nyayam Atma pravachanena labhyah na medayana bhaguna srutena yam eva yesha vrinute tena labhyah tasyaisha atma vivrinute tanuswam. That is, without the Atman cannot attain the supreme realization just by study, intelligence, or by his own effort. It has to be attained by the grace of the supreme Atma, which is the Paramatma or God or Brahma. So Sri Ramakrishna gives a beautiful allegorical comparison. When Rama was walking and Sita was in the middle, and Lakshmana was behind them. So as they were walking in the forest, Lakshmana could not see Rama at all because Sita was in the middle. Now Sita is not illusion here. Sita is the power of the Rama. Lakshmana represents we all. So we need her help to see Rama. So that is beautiful allegorical, um, you know, yeah, a kind of a scene explained by Sri Ramakrishna. So here, see, Lakshmi here means Lakshyam iti nayati, who actually, the power of Lakshmi is the one who takes us towards the goal. That is the meaning of Lakshmi. Whatever is the goal of us, she is trying to give us that all resources. So that is what you call Lakshmi. As we are approaching time 5-4 minutes, now we will go to the final fulfillment of Totapuri. Now every time Totapuri and Sri Ramakrishna used to discuss all these things, but the final thing did not happen. Now Sri Ramakrishna prayed to the Divine Mother that this fellow should be taught clearly what exactly the non-dual Vedanta is according to Sri Ramakrishna, according to Sri Ramakrishna's realization. This Totapuri had a huge body, strong body, but all of a sudden he got a stomachache. With that, he was all the time trying to discuss with Sri Ramakrishna all the Vedantic interpretations. Usually, Totapuri will not stay more than 3 days in any place. But after meeting Sri Ramakrishna, it was very difficult for him to part from him. It was very difficult to part from him. So because he felt that Sri Ramakrishna is something unique, and he earned for his holy company. Something is, attracting him and not allowing him to move further. But he had this stomachache, and slowly stomachache was intensifying. Then he couldn't concentrate that he is Brahman. Immediately his concentration was, his mind is on the pain. So he decided, okay, let me drown myself and die. So he went towards Ganges. If you go to Belur Math or Dakshineshwar, you will see a big, wide Ganga. And that time the tide was so low. He went to the middle of the river until the tide was so low that the water reached only to his knees, and he couldn't drown himself. He couldn't commit suicide or drown himself. Then all of a sudden the flash came. You could see that the dazzling brightness everywhere, and he saw the mother appearing in all forms, and also in his Hridaya as Antaryami. So immediately he understood, he experienced the great bliss of Divine Mother and grace. His Anubhava was so splendid and indescribable, and he felt the absolute grace of Divine Mother. And then he understood that this entire world is the power of Brahman. Each and every individual souls and the matter is the power of Brahman, splendor of Brahman, magnificence of Brahman. You can say part of Brahman, or you can say body of Brahman, universal form. Universe itself is infinite, along with Brahman, who is again infinite. So this is what we call Purnam. He completely understood the integral unity of one Brahman with everything. Just by saying Brahman, it includes everything. Just by saying USA, it includes everything in this country within the body. Nothing is negated there. The duality and the non-duality is harmonized completely by just one word. When you say Brahman, automatically it will include the the individual souls and also the, the matter. When you say ocean, it includes the fish and the non-living beings and the water, all together in one word. So that he absolutely understood, and he came back to Sri Ramakrishna. And he said that he had the vision of divine mother. Until then, he did not believe. Then Ramakrishna said to him, see, that time you refused to believe my mother. Now you are arguing with me that all Shakti is illusion of Brahman. But now she has revealed this to you. And in that way, he understood that the Shakti and Brahman is like fire and the burning capacity. So with this way, Sri Ramakrishna justified that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is just the first step towards the Parama Bhakti or Para Bhakti or Prema Bhakti towards the to our ideal. In fact, Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the first stage. Only when we become ourselves bereft of that, we are not mind, body, intellect, buddhi, or prana, then we are spirit. Then the spirit will start worshipping the Supreme Spirit without any selfish motive. So, in this way, Totapuri and Bhairavi Brahmani, Aladhari, Tatadhari, all the four gurus of Sri Ramakrishna got completely fulfilled in their jnana or knowledge and understanding the integral unity of one Brahman and left happily from the Dakshineshwar. So the summary is Sri Ramakrishna gave us the Tattva Hita Purushartha. Tattva is one Brahman who is both Nirguna and Saguna. Nirguna means it is not opposite of Saguna. Nirguna means is free from all corporeal interferences and is imperfect. And we already discussed in previous classes how to understand the two opposite things in one entity. When you say that the person has both justice and injustice, I repeat that when we say that a person has both justice and injustice means there are both two opposites. How can that be in the same person? So how to understand that? So we need to understand this way. A person is showing justice to all the good act, and the same person will show injustice to the bad acts. So in that way, both justice and injustice are abiding in that person all the time. So here Nirguna means he is against all the imperfections, and Saguna means he has the complete all the Kalyana Guna Vastus, all the auspiciousness ever existing in Brahman. That is the Brahma Tattvam. Second is Hita, the means to attain him, that is through Viveka and Bhakti. Viveka is to declare this world as an illusion. How? Only to develop Bhakti. To make us ourselves get rid of this material attachment, Sri Ramakrishna used this word, Brahma Satya Jagan Nitya. So to have that as a means so that we don't develop our attachment to the corporeal things. In that way, we develop the bhakti towards the Brahman. So Viveka and Bhakti as the means to the second point. The third point is After getting that, after developing the Viveka and Bhakti, what happens is one becomes Vijnani. Vijnani means the individual soul who experiences both the Nitya Vibhuti and Leela Vibhuti of the Brahman, the transcendental aspect, and also the universal aspect, like Arjuna, considering all forms as the Brahman form, and the Leela is in one particular form he considers within his limitations. So absolute. So Sri Ramakrishna beautifully says these things in the gospel. As we go forward, we will be dealing that in our future class. So with this, we will conclude. Mangalam Deshikendraya Eminam Chakravartine Parashakti Swarupinye Devyai Matre Chamangalam Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu Samastasan Mangalani Bhavantu. Let all people be happy, and let all auspiciousness pervade everywhere, all time. Om Tat Sat.
Who are not coming? Who are not coming? Who are not coming? Buwan, ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಬಾ. Param nirgunam nirisham param nirgunam nirvishesham
niriham parabrahmarupam ganesham bhajema parabrahma Supam Ganesham Bhajema Gunatitamanam Chidanandarupam Gunatitamanam Chidanandarupam Chidabhasakam Sarvagam Jnanagam Chidabhasakam Sarvagam Jnanagam Munideyama Munideyama Paresham Parabrahmarupam Ganesham
Bhajema Parabrahmarupam Ganesham Bhajema Jagatkaranam Karanajnanarupam Jagatkaranam Karanajnanarupam Suradim Sukadim Gunesham
रुद्रादिं सुखादिं गुणेशं गणेशं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं जगद्व्यापिनं विश्ववन्द्यं सुरेशं परब्रह्मं गणेशं पठेम गणेशं भजेम परब्रह्मरूपं गणेशं भजेम। जय श्री श्री गणपति की जय। जय श्री गुरु महाराज जी की जय। जय श्री महामाई की जय। जय श्री श्री दुर्गा माई की जय। हर नमः पार्वती पतये हर महादेव।
ఏడుకొండలవాడ వెంకటరమణ గోవింద గోవింద జై బజరంగ్ బలి కి జై ప్రియతాం పుండరీకాక్షః సర్వయజ్ఞేశ్వరో హరిః తస్మిన్ పుష్పే జగత్తుష్టం ప్రీణితే ప్రీణితం జగత్ హరిః ఓం తత్సత్ శ్రీరామకృష్ణార్పణమస్తు.
Okay.